Good morning. Welcome to the Monday Morning Jumpstart. Hi, my name is Rory Peters. I'm the founder and CEO of Rory Peters International, as well as the Grow Your Business Like You Mean It live event. I'm a speaker, a sales and leadership trainer, and the author of Sell Like You Mean It. This week we're going to talk about asking. The number one mistake made by most people is they don't ask for what they want. Now, you might be thinking I'm talking about salespeople, and I definitely am. But that's not the only group I'm talking about. I'm talking about everybody else. In every facet of your life, people don't ask for what they want. For example, if my wife and I go to a restaurant and they want to sit us next to the kitchen or in a dark area or someplace where it's really noisy, she will politely ask them if we can sit over there, someplace where she would like to be seated. She's the customer. She's going to pay them for their services. She has no problem asking for a great experience, and that includes sitting in an area that she thinks is going to be a warm and inviting and enjoyable place to enjoy the meal. She has no questions whatsoever about asking for what she wants. That's how we all should be. Again, we're not talking about being rude. We're talking about being polite and considerate, but asking for what you want. And again, this isn't just for salespeople. If you want a raise or a promotion, you've got to ask. Very seldom is a company going to beg you to take a promotion. Sometimes they're going to wait until you ask for it. Not necessarily because they don't want to give it to you, but maybe they've got other things on their minds. They're working on other things, and your promotion is not top of mind. But when you ask them for it, then they realize, yeah, you're actually due. Yeah. But if you don't ask, maybe you won't get it. Now, going back to sales, it certainly is prevalent there. I saw a stat, and based on my own personal experience, I would agree with this. 65% of the time when somebody is supposed to ask for the sale, they don't. I don't mean they don't get the sale. I mean they don't even ask. They do everything else up to that point. They greet the customer. They ask them the right questions to find out what product or service they need. They find them the right product and service. They answer all their questions. And then they wait. They wait for the customer to ask them to buy the product or service. That's not going to happen. Now, why not? I can think of many times where I've gone out to buy something I really wanted. But when it came right down to actually making the purchase, I was debating as to whether I really wanted to spend the money. Because there's always that battle. Something we want versus giving up the money. And there have been times where the salesperson didn't put a little bit of pressure on me to buy. And so I walked away without making the purchase. And I actually wanted to. And if the salesperson had done their job and actually asked for the sale, they probably would have got it. Because I wanted the product, but I was in that debate between money and the thing that I want. So by asking for the sale, you're actually most of the time doing your customer a favor. But again, when I say salespeople, if you own a cupcake shop, you're a salesperson. If you run a car dealership, obviously you're a salesperson. I am a salesperson. You bought my program, right? Now, you didn't ask me if you could buy it. I had to ask you if you wanted to buy this program. I introduced it to you, gave you what I believe were strong benefits, why this is going to serve you, and I asked you if you wanted to make the purchase. And you said yes. Some people said no. But I had to ask. Because if I didn't, you wouldn't have come up and begged me to let you buy it. All of us, if we're in business, we are salespeople. If we're not in business for ourselves, we work for somebody else, we're salespeople. Anytime we want anything, we have to ask for it. You want to ask somebody out, you have to ask. They're not going to beg you to go out with them, especially if you're a guy, right? There are a few women that are cool that way and they ask the guy out, but most of them, they want to be asked out. So if there's somebody who was dying to go out with you, but you never asked them because you're afraid they're going to say no, you lost out on an opportunity there. Because if you had just asked, she would have said yes. The key is to ask. And it goes a step beyond that, especially as entrepreneurs. But I'll tell you how I learned this lesson. It wasn't as an entrepreneur. The lesson is this. Don't just ask for the bare minimum. Ask for what you believe is the best opportunity for that customer as well as yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, if you have a cupcake shop, you don't ask if they'd like to buy a cupcake. You ask them if they'd like to buy a dozen to take home. Now, maybe a number of them are going to say, no, I'll just take one, or I'll just take three. And some are going to go, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll take a dozen. Or maybe that was their intent to begin with. I learned this lesson when I started selling extended warranties. I was selling electronics, and we were offering 1, 2, 3, and 5-year extended warranties. And quite honestly, most of the time, the 5-year extended warranty was almost as expensive as the product itself. And I wouldn't ask for the 5-year. I'd ask for 1 year or 2 years, sometimes a 3-year. I'd never ask for the 5-year. And there was quotas there, and my boss had quotas that he had to make. And so he came up to me and he says, Rory, I've noticed you never asked for the 5-year warranty. Why is that? And I said, seriously? It's almost as much as the product itself. Who's going to buy that? And he said, nobody if you don't ask. But if you ask, you never know. There may be somebody who believes that it's cheaper to buy the 5-year warranty than at the end of 2 years to have to buy a brand new product. And they like this product, and it's worth it to them to make sure for 5 years this isn't going to cost them a dime. He was right. He was 100% right. Now, did the majority of people buy the 5-year warranty? No. They usually drop down to something else, like a 2-year or a 3-year. But every now and then, somebody saw the value in a 5-year warranty, and they bought it. But if I didn't ask, if I didn't offer them the 5-year warranty, they weren't going to beg me to take it. Obviously, it was more expensive. And they would be going through the same thing that I talked about earlier, debating on money versus the value of the purchase. And sometimes they would go, if I didn't ask them, they were going to keep with the money. So in everything you do, whether that's in asking where you want to be seated in a restaurant, sending back food that isn't made the way you ordered it, trying to close a sale, asking for a dozen, if they want to buy a dozen cupcakes rather than one. You've got to ask. The world belongs to those people who ask for what they want. And a lot of times, they'll get it. But for those who don't ask for what they want, well, they're never going to get it. So start that process. Find yourself being somebody who asks for what they want. And you're going to become a very happy person. I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a fantastic week.